Hello, everyone. So I'll give you a little context before I start. So before the NAR settlement came down, and that I asked my office the week before, in the Compass office in Palo Alto, and I said to people, how many people are using a buyer broker? About 50 agents in the room, and 4 or 5 people raised their hand, right? And so then I asked, how many people would be interested in the presentation, and then a bunch of, like everyone else raised their hands, said, yeah, we'd love to do that. So I said it 2 weeks later, and then the NRF settlement came down. I opened it up to 2 other offices, Los Altos and Menlo Park, and I had 104 agents come in person to my office. So I know that people are interested in it. We looked at sort of what Compass was offering. We've got several different companies here. So I'll go through my presentation. And obviously I'm looking at a full fee. I'm not going to discuss fee today because there's other brokerage houses here. So my fee is going to be X, that's all I'm going to say. But everyone, it's a full fee discussion, just so you know. Okay. The best way to do this might be if we do a little role play. So curious, anyone personally looking for a house here right now? Any agents? Anyone looking for a client right now? Are you? Yeah, client. Obviously, there's got to be some hands for that, right? So, anyone want to play pretend buyer? It will go better if we do. Put you on the spot. I'm going to do forms. Pretend buyer. Awesome. Okay. Great. All right, Alan. Perfect. All right.
Some tells me this is going to get really
great. Yeah. All right. So let me start. So the context here is really, I think, to have this presentation set up so you can do it on Zoom. It's in a flip book, but what we're going to do is anyone that would like the presentation, give me your email and your name, and I'll send you the electronic version after. It won't be, if you work for Compass, I probably can send you an editable version, put Compass down. Compass is pretty locked down on their platform, so we have to allow each person to do it. We sent it to all the 104 agents so they could edit it themselves and take my name off. But so the concept's just to get better together, right? So we all have the same thing. We're all going to have to sign buyer broker agreements. And so that was sort of the concept. It's like, let's talk about what's working, what's not working. And we went through like all the Compass forms, my assistant and I. They had a, buyer, initial form was 6 pages long. They had 50 points. They had a lot of stuff that I felt wasn't necessary. So I summed it down to more simple, right? So let's just go through it. Pretend that we're in an office setting, okay? And so we'll just, we'll start. So, hey, Alan, thanks for coming to the office. Really appreciate it. Let me give you this form really quick. Let me have you fill this out. I'm going to get a glass of water. Would you like sparkling or sparkling be okay?
Sparkling is great.
Awesome. Okay. Great. So Perrier.
I'm going to increase the size so you won't necessarily see the whole thing.
Yeah. All right, so we'll give you a second now to fill that out. So the form here is what you guys have in your presentation, and we printed them all out for you. So it's a buyer form and a needs form.
Does anyone not have one?
We had 30 copies, so. So the concept here is to make your buyer feel comfortable, right? I offered him some water, just to start off the conversation like you're talking with a friend, right?
So I have a question, John. So now you've given that. Have you left the conference room?
I left, and I left him for a second,
Okay.
went back to my desk, got some water, brought it back to him. Typically, I wait like 2 or 3 minutes for that, just come back, give him some time to fill it out, right?
Do you like that better or to give them that time, like in an email?
I think in person's best because you can read voice inflection, you can look at facial recognition, all of that, like how they're reacting to it. That's much better, in my opinion, right? My thought would be is that, everyone's time is valuable, right? They don't want to be bored by a long presentation, so tell them 30 minutes, right? Try to keep it to 30 minutes, right? All right, Alan, how we doing?
Good.
We've got it back. Buy it really once. Awesome. All right. Okay. So Alan, so it looks like you're looking for a 3 or 4 bedroom home. Is that right?
Preferably 4.
Preferably 4.
3 by accident.
Okay. Okay, no problem. And if I could make some notes, would that be okay? Okay, great. So you prefer 4 beds, okay. And what area would you like here? You put down Hillsborough, Atherton, Menlo Park, Woodside, all those 4 areas?
Yes.
Okay. Any particular architectural style that you like in a home?
I don't like what it's called. I don't like a lot of wood on the exterior, that wooded look.
Not a lot of wood.
Yes.
Okay.
So I like the stucco and more modern, but not those, the shingle looking houses.
Okay. Like the Craftsman style house? You don't like that one?
I like the Craftsman, but as long as it doesn't have shingles on the walls.
No shingles. Okay.
A lot of it you see in the 70s, that
Okay. Got it. Got it. Okay. Perfect. And so let me ask you a question, Alan. What are you looking at for an agent to do for you?
preferably find things that are off market.
Off market?
Because the MLS
Yeah.
or the online, I'm looking continuously online.
Uh-huh.
My husband's looking online continuously.
Mhm.
So we seem to be able to find a property and go to an open house pretty easily.
Mhm.
So,
And how are you searching for properties online?
Redfin.
Zillow?
Compass.
Mm-hmm. So Redfin Compass. And you're looking for a larger home? You currently own a home right now? You
Yes.
said you own your house. Mhm.
Yes.
How big a house would you like and what's your budget?
Not a chain house, so.
It's okay.
That's why it goes through. Ask that question again.
How big a house would you like and what's your budget?
3,000 square feet would be good, 3,500.
Okay.
Budget is between 4 to 5 million.
Okay. Perfect. That's a generous budget, right? Great. And what's the reason you're looking to move?
And we're getting a loan.
You're getting a loan?
Yeah.
No, that's fine. Yeah. Perfect, perfect. And what's the reason you want to move this larger square footage?
Specifically for my daughter's school right now.
Ah, for your daughter's school.
It's the schools that are driving.
Got it. Okay. Perfect. And what school are you interested in for your daughter?
West, and then Crocker,
Uh-huh. Got it.
and then possibly, then we're not sure on this school yet.
No, yeah, high school, question mark. Okay. So you're flexible a little bit on that?
Yes.
So it sort of feels like you definitely would like a good school for your daughter. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, awesome, great. And you have sort of a wide range, $4 to $5 million. Anywhere in that price point is okay with you? Okay. Are you-
Less would be better.
Less would be better, okay. So are you looking for a good deal?
Always looking for a good deal.
Sure, okay, great. Find a good deal. Off market is something that, we have about 20% on the market. That's typically off market, with members only show and members only do not show at any given time, right? So that's something we can show you. And And we have Compass that we can show you some of the off-market, right? So that would be something that would be, I think, attractive. And you said you wanted something that was off-market. You were having a hard time on Zillow finding a property, right? Okay. Great. So I see that, yeah, so new construction, move-in ready, light cosmetic remodeling, updating. You've checked all those, so you're
I'm
pretty
doing all
open.
those, yes.
Okay,
And I don't want anything that's a fixer. So it can have light construction, but as long as it's clean.
Okay.
It's been well maintained.
okay,
We prefer not to do a lot of work.
got it, okay, all right. So light remodeling, explain that to me just a little bit more. What are you willing to accept?
That needs to be done if we just need to paint and we finish the hardwood floors. I don't want to have to take down walls.
Okay,
And we would prefer not to do a kitchen remodel. Because
Okay.
I've heard that's anywhere between $50,000 and $75,000.
got it,
And bathrooms being $30,000 to $40,000.
yeah. Yeah, understood. Yeah, contractors are expensive these days, right? So, so it sort of feels like you'd like to stay away from a big project. A smaller project, cosmetic, is comfortable to you,
Yes,
but new construction would be perfectly fine.
that would be terrific.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Perfect. Do you have any concerns about the process? No.
I've been hearing about NAR and that basically that we're going to have to pay our location.
Yeah.
And so we're wondering how that's going to be about. To
Sure.
be able to offer these numbers. We're looking at paying $150,000, if not more, and we're not really ready to do that.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm hearing you say that you're concerned about paying a buyer's agent commission.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. And I think that the NAR DOJ lawsuit is still pending, but it's, they're in settlement, right? So,
We can find our house before July.
yeah, that might be an option, right? So, but then the question is, how many sellers are actually going to not offer a buyer co-op, right? So there's really two things that have changed now, right? So one is that I'm going to have to sign a buyer broker agreement with an agent come sometime middle of July. And the other thing that's changed is they're going to decouple MLS, right, and not allow that buyer broker field to be showing in MLS, but they're going to allow agents' personal websites and probably a lot of other vehicles for you to share that compensation if the buyer elects to give one, right? So the way I look at it is that, we can show you everything on the market, right? Because you want to see everything on the market, it's low inventory, right? So on Zillow, you maybe open that extra 20% that you can't see. Members only show, do not show. So that'll help you, right? Finding something. But if the property, say, is offering a $10,000 or a 0% commission, say they're off market completely for sale by owner, still show it to you, and you can decide if you want to go in the door or not. I'll just let you know there's going to be a differential on that one. Would that be okay? That's how it would work. Any questions about
That
that?
should be okay.
Okay. Okay.
Just depending on if I have to pay the commission or not.
Correct, yeah. So, yeah, you would have to pay a commission if there was a differential, yes. So let's talk about exactly how that works, because I think part of it was, with the settlement, there's a confusion as to how people were compensated, how agents were compensated. So let's just talk about that for a second. But let me go to the slide. You scroll up a little bit for me. Go up. We'll go past the next. Yeah, so go to the next page. Actually down, sorry. Yeah. Keep going down. Keep going. So I'm going to stop here for a second. So let's go down. I'll come back to this in a second. Let's just go down because you had a question about the buyer broker. So stop right here. Okay. So so this right here, Ellen. So this is which you should have right in front of you there, Ellen. This is a buyer broker agreement, right? And it shows how we're compensated, right? And there's basically, there's a term to the agreement which we highlighted for you to see, and that is, typically, we put maybe a month to 6 months, so we're flexible, right? So we can talk about what's comfortable to you. And then, are you just looking for a residential property, or are you looking for potentially vacant land to build? Okay, so we would just check the residential box, right? And then we would fill out the location of the property, and you're looking primarily just in San Mateo County, right? You're not looking in Santa Clara County. So we would put San Mateo County in there, right? Scroll down, up again. Keep going. Keep going. Stop there. So number 9A talks about the compensation. So my compensation is X, and that's what I charge. And we just write it right here in the agreement, right? So it goes right there where we highlight the percentage, then scroll down to the, yeah. So then right here, I want to point this out. In the event that a broker receives compensation from a seller owner, or any broker in connection with a transaction involving the property, the said sum shall be credited against the amount due to the broker from the buyer. So we would agree on X, right, in the agreement. And you're going to have to hire an agent come July. Some people are now already signing those agreements now, right? This shows you basically that if there is a buyer co-op being paid to the buyer's agent, it will be credited against what you owe me. Is there any questions about that? Here, yeah, I can explain it again if there's any questions.
So any difference between your compensation in X and what they're paying in Y?
Correct.
Would I have to make up the difference?
You would.
If they're paying over, I would receive that?
No. In this agreement, it says
Well, that's not fair.
in the event that the broker receives a sum in excess of the amount specified, broker's authorized to keep that sum. Now, Alan, this is a form that was done before, right, the settlement, right? And they might change this form, but that's the way the form reads right now. We just use standard boilerplate forms, right? In real estate, we don't practice law, right? So you're filling out a contract, right? You're filling the boilerplate. We're just doing the same over here, right? So obviously, if they change the form, we use the updated form, but that's the way it reads right now. Why don't you think that's fair?
Because if it's telling me that I have to make up the difference, that we need to agree on a certain percentage.
Sure.
So if I'm willing to only pay 2.5.
Sure.
To the buy side.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to make the difference, anything over that should come back to me.
Okay. So would you be willing to sign an agreement with me if we modified it to the extra come back to you if there's more?
Yes.
Okay. I'm flexible. We can do that. It's not a problem. Yeah. Now let me ask you a question. Scroll up real quick. No, down the other way. Okay. Keep going. Right, stop right there. So Alan, are you, have you currently, this is a form that NAR asks us to give to you. Basically says that if you've signed a buyer broker with anybody else, just want to make sure if you have it. So done that in the past?
So I can't sign with anybody else?
Yeah, it would be exclusive for us during the term, right? And I'm flexible. Typically we do it for, a month to 6 months. But this form is asking if you've signed with anybody else and you currently have an agreement.
I have not signed with anybody else.
Okay.
My husband was saying we should sign with 2 or 3 or 4 different agents. So that we're free to different off market.
Yeah, got it. And that would be, how would that work, Ellen? Why is that important? How would that work?
Because it would give us opportunity amongst 3 or 4 different agents rather than just one.
Sure.
So whoever finds us a house, the soonest.
Got it. But you wanted a good deal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back. Let me show you a few of the services I offer, if that'd be okay for a second, to have your permission.
Yeah, I'm sitting here eating lunch.
Great. Awesome. Come back down here.
How's the gym, by the way?
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit further up, isn't it?
Yeah, right there. I'll get a second. Got it. So the the first thing, Alan, is that if you hire me as your agent, right? There's a fiduciary, right? And so a lot of agents don't explain this to their clients very well, but fiduciary means that you have the utmost care, right? And fair and honest dealing with both sides. But utmost care in real estate basically means that, like, that I have an obligation to get you the best pricing firms, right? For example, like if you were to go buy a brand new car, I think you said you bought a car recently. Yeah, it wasn't a good investment. But so it's that guy's like, basically trying to get you to pay the most money. They have no fiduciary to you. You're a client to them, right? So when you sign with me as a fiduciary, then I have the utmost care. I have legal obligations to get you that best deal that you're looking for, right? So that's point number one, first service I offer. And then the second offer is inventory, which we talked about before, right? You want to see inventory, right? So I'm going to show you everything on and off the market. And in your comment about other agents, well, everything's pretty much, for the most part, out there to the agents, right? I'd say 99% of it. Sometimes there's people that want to double in something and they're just going to keep it in their pocket. And I can't guarantee that we see every single thing, but I'm going to see most of it, right? And you want someone on your side to help you, right? So I'll expose that inventory to you, that extra 20% that you're normally not going to see on Redfin and Zillow, right? So that's something that we offer, okay? And then evaluation. So, Redfin and Zillow, they basically have some numbers out there, and in certain price points, they can be over $1 million difference, right? So I think you want an agent to tell you, what the valuation from an agent standpoint, right? And then you're going to have that information before you go in to make an offer. We're going to make that valuation for you so you know where you stand. Now, the market's going up right now, right? So we might set a value that is, at X, right? And you're going to have to pay a little more than that, right? But at least you'll know sort of where you stand with the comps, right? So I'll help you with that valuation. Any questions about those first three?
What about if an agent brings, because we've been going to open houses
Sure.
For the last almost 6 months.
Yeah.
We haven't signed anything with anybody, but
Yep.
they have our information, and they've said to me that they could bring it off market or something before it gets us to the last to our attention. Do we still have to work with you if we sign this?
It would be an exclusive agreement for the term that we agreed to, right? And at the fee that we agreed to, right? So, and remember, we could do the extra back to you, right? So you'd have to decide. I sort of look at it this way, right? Alan, it's like all the, like you're the buyer, you're looking, right? And you want the full attention, right? So I only take on 5 buyers at a given time, sign, right? So you're gonna get my full attention. Like you're gonna feel like my only client, right? These other people that, are asking you, they're just probably lead generating and they'd love to get you in their database, but are they really gonna give you the attention you deserve, right? You want someone on your side, right? So I'll help you with that, right? I'll make sure that you're taken care of, right? Because you want that good deal, you're gonna find those things. And more often than not, if that agent comes to you anyway, you can let me know, right? And I can call them, and more often than not, they're going to actually let us see it, and let me represent you, right? Because we're already.
I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah. So, we want you to feel comfortable, right? But that's kind of how it works, right? Most people do share their listings, right? So now,
Do I have that? Do I have to buy a property if it's not paying a commission? Can you show it to me? It fits everything within our
sure.
box check. Is there something in there that says that?
No, it doesn't. So you don't buy a property until you sign an offer, right? Just like a listing, the seller isn't, when they sign a listing, they're not selling their house until they sign an offer, right? There's no offer of compensation due for that. So no, you're fine.
So is it possible for you to only show us properties that have compensation?
Only upon your request, yes. So we can't steer people away from properties. We have to show you everything. And then we would let you make the choice. Like I'll let you know before you walk in the door, this one's offering 2.5, this one's offering 3. This one's offering.
Show us those.
0 or 10,000, right? And then you would instruct us, and maybe I'll have to show you those if you didn't want to see. Okay, does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Okay, awesome. All right. And then evaluating the condition, my job is also, as your agent, to sort of point out some red flags, right? So the condition of the property, look through the disclosure package, right? You're going to look at it too, right? And you're going to look at it, read it all, sign it on something you make an offer. But I'm going to point out, right? Like the other day, I had this property that we pulled up in Palo Alto and went through the disclosure package for a buyer, and the home inspection said, yeah, there's not a vertical crack, horizontal crack. So I called the listing agent and said, where's the foundation inspection? Because they called out for a foundation. It wasn't a foundation inspection. So I said to my buyer there, that's a miss, right? So the buyer elected not to proceed. So those type of things, you don't want to miss that, so I'm going to help you with that element, right? Condition of the property, okay? And then the last thing is, negotiating and winning an offer for you, right? So there's different ways to do that. There's agents that, basically, some agents have a formula, right? If there's multiple offers, how much to bid over, right? I've got a personal formula. We can talk about that a little bit later offline. Maybe not for this discussion today, but 9 times out of 10, I can get you a number, right? Sometimes you can't, but more often than not, I at least get your number. It might be more you want to pay, right, in a multiple offer, but there's ways to do that, right? And then if off market, there's a way to negotiate that, and also something that, is maybe, for sale by owner, those can be different. Maybe it's been on the market for a while. You can get it for under the asking price, right? There's those scenarios too, right? So we can talk about that and help you through that. That's my job, okay? So, yeah. So if you want, we'll proceed. And are you okay with that?
I should ask.
We'll open up questions in a second.
I should ask.
Anything else you should ask? I'll let everyone else ask questions at the end. We'll just.
How do I get out of this contract if I want out of the contract before the timeline?
Got it.
And
Yeah.
if I'm not going to buy a property, I decide.
Sure. So the way this particular one's written is it is an exclusive agreement for the term, just like a listing agreement, right? So we're just going to find your property for that amount of time. So let me ask you. So I mean, 1 month to 6 months. What are you comfortable about?
Right now, I think I'm comfortable with 1 month.
Okay. Yeah, we can try.
See what we go from there.
That's fine.
And
Yeah.
if you show me a property within that 30-day period, can I buy it in the 35th day or the 60th day?
So, what we would do, I mean, you don't necessarily have to buy in 30 days, right? We're not going to force you to, right? So we're going to find something, and it's a low inventory market, right? We're going to show you those extra things that you might not see. But, we can do a month, and then if we don't find you something and it's working well together, then I'll just opt you for another 30 days. We'll just have you sign a little thing, in it for another 30 days, and I've done that before. It works really, really well. If you're comfortable with that, we can proceed that way.
Okay.
Is that good for you?
That's good for you.
All right. Well,
Look forward to working with you. Thanks very much.
so I'll sit down, but I can answer any questions.
Yes. So on the 2.5%, if the buyer comes back and says, well, I've run the math, 2.5% on a 2-mil purchase of $50,000, I don't see how, I appreciate all the work you're going to do on my behalf, but $50,000 seems a little bit much. So is that negotiable?
So, I mean, because of the broker format, let's just keep it to X percentage, just so.
Okay, whatever that percentage is.
So let's just say, my piece X, and you said there's a differential, and that differential is $50,000. So reword the question if you don't mind, one more time, without the actual percentage.
Okay, so based on what I'm looking at, the dollar amount is, in my estimation, roughly $50,000. Right? I appreciate your work and everything you've laid out here. At the same time, that seems a little bit much, and as I understand it, this gives buyers the opportunity to negotiate and reduce the cost of buying the property in general. So is there any reduction there that we can talk about?
Yeah, no, I understand the question. And what's your name?
John.
John, oh, good name, yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, so John, I understand. Yeah, so one of the things I offer obviously is evaluation, right, number 3, which we talked about, right? And, you know, I represented a buyer, a seller about 2 years ago in Palo Alto, right? And they paid way too much for the property. Got it off market, paid $6.2 million for it, right? It was worth about $5 million. They thought they got a great deal. I got my seller out of it, right? He lost a little bit of money, but so the thing is that if you know you're just looking at say Redfin and Zillow, you don't know what the value is, right? You need an agent to help you, and you need an agent that has a fiduciary on your behalf to make sure that you're really not overpaying, right? And we've got another property that's too much, right? Because you have the valuation of the property, and I just don't want you to be like that guy, right? That got a bad deal off market. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I want to go back to this getting out of this. So-
Yeah, go ahead.
So you sign up for 2 months or a month or however long you sign up. Then after 2 weeks, somebody that you met at an open house tells you about a house. So this guy comes back to you and says, I don't want to work with you anymore. Because he thinks that if he gets rid of this agreement, that he can use the other agent
Sure.
telling him about that house. So
That's probably why you better than 3 years. But I think you should be negotiable a little bit on term and not on fee. That's my